Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Ryan So603. Today I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to actually do a reaction video based off a video I saw on YouTube with another fellow YouTuber who is on a journey with buying a fourplex, which is four-door dwelling that she rents out for an income. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to compare what she earns to what you potentially can earn for the same amount on Novatech, and I'm going to compare it to see which one is better, if that would be better than this, or if Novatech is in fact better than that. So without further ado, here's the video. Oh, also, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Just show me some love and express maybe what I can do better, what you like about it, and whatnot. Thank you guys. Yeah, here's the video.
Hey guys, it's Sharon from Digital Nomad Quest, and today we're going to talk about how much I make on my fourplex that I purchased
So she paid
for $175,000. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm all about teaching y'all how to build passive income, become financially free, and design your best lives. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of my latest videos. So in my previous video, I talked a bit about my experience with purchasing the fourplex, a little bit behind the backstory. So basically, I was super interested in out-of-state real estate investing. I finally decided to start researching the market. Ended up going into the process in December, closing in March. Took a while for me to actually have everything closed because there were a lot of moving parts. Had to get in touch with the real estate agent, the lender, property management company, and the homeowners insurance company. A lot of different moving parts, so I had to make sure everything was all good.
So the first thing I noticed that's important about what she said is getting into real estate. She had to do a lot of research, and especially because she was out of state, she had to research the market that she's going into. She had to research probably like the comps that's in the area and what units in that particular area are going for, so she can make her price fair and attractive to other people who want to rent in that area. So in comparison to Novatech, it's not as much research that you would have to put in. Of course, you want to understand the company that you're working with, and you want to understand, exactly what Novatech is and the things of that nature. But it's nowhere near in comparison to what you would have to do for real estate in order to feel confident in investing in that method. So that's one thing that's already different that I kind of consider to be better in for Novatech, because you don't have to do nearly as much in order to start.
I want to show you guys a little bit of what the fourplex looks like. Again, here's a little bit of the video. So I actually went out and visited the fourplex for a little bit out in Texas. I was able to visit the fourth unit because it was vacant at the time. There were 3 occupied units at the time. Now we got the 4th tenant, but at that time we were able to visit that empty unit. And let me just show you guys a little bit of that clip.
So 3 of the units are already occupied. She has 1 empty unit. It looks pretty nice too. And it's pretty clean in there. Bedroom looks nice. Not a bad unit. 2 bedrooms. Bathroom's kind of dated, but it looks fine. Cool backyard. It's not bad. The wood looks a little old, but otherwise, that's cosmetic.
Alright, so as you can see, the fourplex is nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. It needed a little
nice.
bit of repair, but not too much, as you can see. I wanted it to be in that condition where it's definitely decent to live in, but I didn't want to do anything too fancy to it. So the purchase price of this fourplex, again, is $175,000. So with my loan, I put in a 25% down payment. 25% is usually the requirement for multifamily units. So I ended up paying $45,000 for the down payment as well as closing costs. So my agent actually made kind of a unique contract where the seller contributed to some of my closing costs. So that's why I paid about $45,000. And then on top of that, I paid about $5,000 in repairs, including this AC unit that I recently had to put in.
Okay, so another thing. So she mentioned repairs. That is very important in terms of real estate. Every time you have a renter come in or go out or whatever, you're gonna have to make repairs, and that's something you don't have to deal with in the world of Novatech. So that's a cost that's consistent with that's gonna be reoccurring with real estate that you won't really see when you're dealing with Novatech. And it can range from anywhere from something very cheap to like just changing a window maybe or something of that nature to something that's very expensive like changing plumbing or something like that. So she said for this instance she only had to pay 5,000, which isn't too bad. It's not bad. So, but ultimately that brought her total investment thus far up to $50,000. Now, I know from experience with dealing with Novatech that we average around 3% um, based ROI, return on investment. So, if you were to invest $50,000, 3% of that would be 1,500. So already we will be making 1,500 every week because we get paid out weekly opposed to whatever she makes monthly, which I'm pretty sure isn't going to be as high as that. So yeah, that's just one thing you gotta pay attention to is repairs, and her total investment is kind of larger. Like that's a pretty large total investment. With Novatech, you can come in with as little as $100. Although I personally wouldn't come in with, I would probably do more closer to $1,000 or more. You can come in with $100 and you continuously add to make your account larger and receive larger returns. Anyway, let's continue.
To the fourplex because the old one had issues. But other than that, most of it was like cosmetic repairs that they wanted to fix up for the fourth unit.
Usually
Aside from
cosmetic
that,
things are
there
optional.
will
You
be
don't have to do
ongoing
that, but it's
maintenance.
nice.
So my
It makes
property
people feel
management
more
company handles
welcome.
a lot of this, but I have to pay the repairs. They help me coordinate everything. In terms of expenses, I pay about $1,000 a month for mortgage, property taxes, and homeowners insurance.
So another thing, she mentioned she has a property management company. Now that's another added expense. So that's a company that's just gonna take care of the property when you can't. So for instance, she mentioned that she's out of state in Texas. I don't know where she lives personally, but yeah. So she's not physically in that area, so she needs a third party company in order to collect the funds that collect the rent and collect the and look for contractors to repair things. So she has to pay those people whatever her percentage is. Usually it ranges from anywhere from like I'm not sure 3% all the way up to 10% plus. So I'm not sure specifically what she's paying at this point, but it can get pretty expensive depending on what you get into, what kind of contract you get into. But I mean, that's another thing you don't have to really worry about with Novatech. You just put your money in and they pay you money out.
So mortgage is a little over $600, and basically the lender was like,
So she
"You
makes
want to
600 a
open
month.
an escrow account where
I mean, she pays
your
600 a
property
month,
taxes and your
which isn't
insurance?"
bad.
And I said, "Why not? Because I might as well pay that monthly sum, so I don't have to think about it." So the great thing is, obviously, I am paying down the mortgage while everything's going on, and then I pay $150 a month
Another
for water and
150
trash,
for water
and I
and
pay
trash. That's another
10% for
expense.
property management fees. So the standard is usually around
So
8 to
that's
10%.
what 750 in the
10% is a
whole.
little bit on the higher end. I could have actually gotten it for 8%. However, this company had better reviews. I
So she's paying
called
her
them and
property
I really
management
felt
company
like I trusted
10%
them more than
of
other
her
companies I
rental
called.
income.
So that's why I went with them instead. I really felt like they could handle it better. Their reviews were amazing. So 10% is essentially $209.50. It's 10% of the rent. So I'll talk a bit more about how much I get from the rental income. So in my analysis,
so she mentioned a few things here. She mentioned putting money aside for vacancies. So in other words, if somebody was to move out of her unit and if somebody was to move out of her unit and it's been vacant for a while, she puts money aside to account for that, so she could, so she won't feel the blow as much. So because she already prepared for that future. Because with rental properties, there's a likelihood that you're gonna have some vacancy. Your units might not be rented 100% of the time. You're gonna have a percentage of vacancy. So she's putting money aside to account for that. Also, you have to deal with repairs, like I mentioned earlier, and so that's just money that she puts to the side. She also mentioned her rental company. I mean, her property management company costs her $209 on top of the $600 on top of the $150 for her water and trash, and then the $600 for her actual mortgage. So let's continue
when
on.
I'm looking
So that's
at deals,
a
I
pretty
usually
steep
allot 10%
amount
for repairs and maintenance as well as 5%
into her
for
profit.
vacancy. And when I say that, that's again of the rent income that I get. So my rent income currently is $2,095 per month, and essentially 10%
So she
would
makes
be
$20.95.
$29.50
That's not bad.
allotted for repairs every
But you got to
month, as
subtract
well as
all those other things.
$104.75 allotted for vacancy in case people leave and I have to get new tenants. Because these are estimates in case these things happen, I'm just only going to talk about the for sure expenses right now. But in my research and analysis, I always allot those two different things to make sure that it's a good deal.
So they're estimates, so it's not actually coming out. She just sets it aside just in case, but ultimately it might never happen. So who knows?
$500 a month each. I could have increased the rents, but I didn't want to make it hard for them.
All right, so she says she makes $500 per the 3 units that were already rented out. Those were the contracts that she bought into. So right there, that's about the same amount as Novatech makes. But you got to remember, you only get paid out once a month when you're dealing with real estate, as opposed to Novatech, you get paid out weekly. So if you make $1,500 a week, I'm sure you know that can't real estate paying out $1,500 a month just can't compete with it, because next week I'm going to make another 1,500 or so, or something around that range, depending on what the percentage is. And then when I'm dealing with real estate, I have to wait a whole another month again, and I won't have that. So that's one of the benefits.
During these times, one of them, their lease ended, and instead of moving forward by adding more to rent, I essentially just made it the same. I don't want to make it hard during these times. But the fourth tenant, I charged basically average rent, so we got a tenant paying $595 per month for that.
So she got her fourth tenant, and she made him pay $95 extra.
$595. I'm getting $2,095 per month. Now subtract $1,000 of
So
mortgage,
mortgage is $1,000 with property
as well
taxes.
as $150 for water and trash,
$150
as
for
well as
water and
property management
trash,
fees of
and $209
$209.50.
for property
I'm
management
getting
fees.
around $735.50 a month.
So $735 is her total profit for the month. Now keep in mind, I mentioned earlier, Novatech is going to pay you approximately $1,500 for the same amount of money invested. So, and that's for the week. So you're going to get $735 for the month, which equates to around like somewhere around 9,000, something like that for the month. I mean for the year, as opposed to Novatech. If you get $1,500 a week, you'll potentially get let's see, what is that? For the entire year, if you go all year with $1,500 a week, that is $182,000 if you hit 3% every week. I mean, that's not likely that you'll hit 3% every week, but the average is 3%. So I mean, anything can happen. I I usually do, when I calculate the number, I put it about 0.5%. When I calculate Novatech's amount, I calculate the return on interest. I calculate it half. So even if you were to get half of what Novatech usually pays out from the average, you'll still make $58,000 for that year alone, which is a lot more than the 9,000 she would make for this rental property. So yeah, it's pales in comparison. It's not even close. If Novatech continues to do business the way they're doing it, and you continue to have the same amount of output, it's a lot more lucrative of an opportunity than you would see than with this particular property we're looking at here.
Cash flow. So that's a good amount, right? If you're going to subtract vacancy and repairs that are estimates, $735.50 minus $209.50 of possible repairs, and
she still has to subtract her possible repairs
possible vacancy,
and vacancies.
That equates
so that's
to about
not even her real amount. So her real amount is $421.
Scenario, a lot of things need maintenance, and I get tenants who leave. Then
and that's a month,
I would
guys.
actually be getting $421.25 per month in cash flow. I'm happy about it. I know that I could increase the $735.50 cash flow if I wanted to in the future when everything stabilizes, when the market increases. We'll see what happens, but I'm already happy with $700 a month in cash flow. Obviously, this covers my mortgage as well, so
yeah, this is completely passive for her. She doesn't pay anything. It's all self-sufficient. So the renters pay the rent and all the other fees associated. So it just does its own thing. She makes a profit off of it. So
essentially, that's it.
That's really good. That's really cool.
On my fourplex. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about.
All right, so I believe that's all that she has to show us. Um, There's a lot of things you can say about that. What if she gets a bad renter and that person doesn't want to pay rent and they don't leave? You know, that's a hassle in itself. So that's something you won't have to deal with Novatech. They pay out every week. You get your money right on time every week. So, you know, not only are you getting more, you don't have to deal with that type of negativity that might come your way when dealing with real estate. Also, like I said, the renovations, who knows what can happen. You can need new pipes. You can need a new roof. Many things can happen that can make this very costly, opposed to you just sitting back, collecting money, clicking buttons. You do, however, you get a physical asset that you can pass down to other family members, like like your sons or your daughters or something like that. They'll always have something in the family where they can collect money from. Who knows how long Novatech will last? What if it doesn't? What if it's not available 20 years from now or 10 years from now? Whereas this person has a property that no longer have pay mortgage on, and they no longer have to, you know, have any more renovations at the time or something of that nature. What else? You get a tax break as well. If you're a homeowner, you get a tax break for that. And yeah, the only thing that's pretty much the positives I see from her buying this property, and it's not a bad thing. I would absolutely do this same deal, of course, because you're gonna make money from it. She's not paying anything; it's completely passive at this point. She doesn't have to do anything because of her property management company, and she makes a profit. So there's nothing wrong with this deal whatsoever. But when you compare it to what you could receive for the same amount in Novatech and the amount of work that you have to do in order to get that initially, it's no comparison. No, as I showed you earlier, just with half the percentage that we are averaged to make, you'll still make $58,000, opposed to only $9,000 at the top of at the complete maximum uh, in her deal at this point with still having a mortgage. So I mean, it has its benefits, but Novatech is definitely looking better to me. So that's just me. But anyway, guys, pretty much all I had to say. Like and subscribe my video if you need some more information. Contact me, and yeah, let's get it.